Good morning, my name's Alex and this is a social experiment. So I'm right wing, change my mind. Please leave a comment in the comment section if you disagree with my beliefs or if you disagree with the right wing, and I will try and get back to you and we can have a mutually respectful conversation and talk about that. So, okay, where do I begin? I'm right wing, change my mind. Okay? So, first of all, I've got to kind of look at my left-wing views. So I believe that because of social hierarchy, there are people in this society that are disadvantaged. All right. Now, this is a left-wing belief, which is in critique of hierarchy. So, if we've got a group of people who are disadvantaged within society, I believe that it is the government's job to try and sort that out. Now, the government is a social hierarchy, it's a social institution, it's something which has been created in order to, it's a tiered system that's created in order to protect us and look after us, in much the same way as we have the army, the navy and the air force. Okay, so these are hierarchies within society which are beneficial, and if anybody believes that the government is the one that should be sorting this problem out, that is a right-wing ideology. Whereas if we're looking towards, if we're trying to look towards society and equal responsibility, it's everybody's responsibility. That is a left-wing ideology to help people who are low down in society and bring them up. But I believe that it is good that we've got a government that can look after people who are the government provides people with benefits and support. If people have got disabilities, that is being supported and helped, because society is not providing these services for people. So it is good to have a right-wing structure within society in order to make sure that people who are disabled, people who cannot find work, make sure that our citizens in this society are looked after. I think that's a good thing, personally, and I do not believe for 1 minute, even though I like, as one of my things, I like to give my music out for free. I give all my films out for free as well. Everything that I make I just put out for free for society. That's kind of a left-wing principle, but I do not believe in having a total equality at all. I think it's a really big problem within society. And one of the problems actually when it comes to discussing left and right is a lot of the time both the left and the right, or the people who imagine themselves as left, because I don't really see the left wing as being left wing. What I think is, I think that a lot of the time it's much easier to segregate and say, oh, because you're right wing, that means that you're a worse person, you're morally inferior to us. I think that's a very common thing used in leftist arguments. I don't think these people are left wing. I actually see many of them as being far right, because actually putting blanket statements on people, that's dehumanization. That is a far right tactic right there. Okay, so when you start saying, oh, I'm morally superior to you, blah 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 blah, all that sort of stuff, that is a social hierarchy that you're trying to create. It's a moral hierarchy. So this kind of argument it shouldn't exist in an egalitarian and left-wing society, because it's all about that cooperative mutual respect, and that's something that we're not getting here. So we're actually coming far out of it, and a lot of the time, a lot of people just virtue signal all the time, and they think that makes them a good person. It doesn't. Actually going out helping society. I've spent the past 13 years helping society. I've worked on a large amount of projects helping people, and basically giving myself out for free to be used by society and trying my best to help. I'll give you an example. I've helped two charities in the United States of America who help people who are coloured, for example, some who've come out of prison and they're trying to find their way back on track. I've helped them by providing website services, and another one which help people who are victims of domestic and sexual abuse, and I've helped that group. I've also taken down 2 white supremacist websites, and yet I've been classified as racist and morally inferior because of my outspoken beliefs. And I am outspoken about them because I think it is important to try and address problems within society. I do not believe that, I believe that if there is an issue within society, it needs to be looked at very carefully and it needs to be dealt with. But we cannot rely on society to properly deal with these things. We need something, we need like natural law, which are a basic set of principles that will basically say what good is, what bad is. The Christian religion has a very good set of principles on what is good and what is bad in terms of natural law to protect the citizens. That's right wing. Natural law is right wing as an ideology. Then it comes on to the next part of the right-wing ideology, which I am for. I believe that having a strong economic base is the best way to improve society. Now, a lot of people, I've had arguments with people in the past, and they say, well, economics just benefits the country. It's like, no. Economics is the difference between whether or not you can afford food or whether you need to go to the government for support. And now, I actually believe that people need to be elevated to a point where they can afford whatever they want in society, and not have to work a full-time job when they do that. Now, I don't think that that is a problem. But there are a lot of things that people are trying to do, for example, in this country, such as taxing the rich, increasing the minimum wage, and increasing corporation tax, which are actually making it harder for people to survive financially. Now, I know this sounds counterintuitive, but the fact of the matter is, that is empowering the government, right? Empowering the government is empowering a hierarchical structure. Believing in that is right-wing. But I also believe that you can take power away from the government and still be right-wing, because it allows people to build their own structure within society. It allows corporations to grow. With lower corporation tax, corporations can grow. They can afford to pay people more. They won't have to fire people because they can't afford to pay them, because of the way that taxation works and VAT and all of the other problems of sugar tax and all of the things that are actually coming into play when it comes to business, such as employee hire costs, things like that. There are a lot of things to consider. And when you think about it, increasing the minimum wage, well, as an employer, employers tend to just start getting rid of staff, replacing them with machines, things like that. So it's generally not good. And also you'll notice that benefits go down, breaks go down in terms of you're no longer paid for breaks. Certainly in the care sector, I'm no longer paid for breaks, whereas before I was paid for breaks. I'm earning the same money that I was earned before, but I'm being paid more, but I'm just not getting a break. I'm not getting a paid break. So there are problems within society. And before that, I was actually earning more money because the people weren't having to charge more to actually keep me employed. So it was easier for people to run services and keep things going. So a strong economy is actually really, really good for ensuring that people on the lower tiers of society can actually claw their way up. And this is really, really important. But a lot of people who consider themselves left seem to want a larger, more powerful, more controlling government, which is very, very weird. And I think that shows a lack of social responsibility. It's not a left-wing principle. It is what I would classify as being a bad right-wing principle, whereas I believe in good right-wing principles like bringing people up, giving people the right to actually, and the power to afford to feed their families, to afford to own their home, to afford to basically survive in this world. So a strong economic base is really, really important. Now, we come on to the final part, which is usually argued, which is tradition. I believe that people's tradition should be respected. I mean, I'm a Sufi. I'm very, very lax about my beliefs, but I'm still a Sufi. And I have experienced Christmas, and I've enjoyed Christmas. I've gone to candlelit vigils at church. I think that's really, really nice. I think it's great to have societies like this. And the thing about Christians is, I've noticed, they're very welcoming people. And I had some bad experiences with Christians when I was younger. Here's one of the burns that I got on my body from a lighter. I was tied to a tree for 3 days, and I was really, really brutally beaten. And then I had to survive for another 3 days, which was not a very fun experience for me. I ate insects, and I suffered like hell through that, and that's because I wasn't a Christian at the time. But the people who hurt me weren't Christians. So that's a tale of my past, for example. So I believe that things like Christmas and other sort of traditions, they're good and they should be respected. And when it comes to people from other religions, for example, I really enjoyed, with one of my good Nepali friends, I really enjoyed preparing dumplings and making them for Holi. When it comes to people's traditional beliefs from other cultures, I think they should be respected as long as they're not hurting other people. I think that is a fairly normal thing, and I do believe that it would be nice for my beliefs to be respected as well, my traditional beliefs. So when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, I do not believe that left-wing people are evil, and I don't believe that right-wing people are evil either. I do, however, believe that there is a good side and a bad side to both ideologies, and this is where we come to things like the radical left and the radical and far right. once ideas become radicalized and they get risen to a certain level, then you start seeing problems. Now, the main reason I started talking politics is that over time, especially with being called racist, considering half of my previous partners, actually more than half of my previous partners have not been from the United Kingdom, I don't think I'm racist. And also considering the fact that I've spent most of my time when I've been working with other people's helping people of different races. For example, I've got some Italians who I'm very, very good friends with. I've been helping their restaurant. I've been helping over in the United States when I was fighting against white supremacy and things like that. So when people turn around and they say, for example, because I say one thing, they say that makes me a racist. I find that very, very awkward, and it's not a nice thing for people to do, because I don't see them doing the same kind of thing. All I see is them demanding that the government deals with these problems, which I think is kind of very absurd. I think if there's a problem in society, the best way to deal with it is to actually go out and fight it on the front lines. And I've even invited certain people to help me when we've had arguments about things where I've been called racist. I've said, "Come help me take down these websites because I need help. I need email addresses. I need people to work with me." Oh, and they're not interested. They don't want to work on it. They don't want to help. And I find that very, very peculiar. So this is one of those days where it's going to go off on a bit of a tangent. When it comes down to the far right as well, one of the things I've noticed that certain people who purport to be left wing, and I'm probably going to make another video on it at some point, social justice warriors I believe to be far right. In terms of the way that they communicate with other people. Another thing I got accused of actually was being a Trump supporter. This is very, very peculiar. Now, I'm going to say it. I actually think Trump did a pretty good job with a large amount of things. And if you can't name one thing that Donald Trump did that's good, then maybe, just maybe, you're in a situation where you're a little bit brainwashed. Because the fact of the matter is, whilst he's been made out to be a complete and total bad guy, if you can't name anything good that he's done, there's problems there in the translation. Now, when it comes down to it, I supported the libertarian campaign in the United States, providing support for websites. I made quite a lot of good libertarian friends. Now, the Libertarian Party is neither Republicans or Democrats. And they stood against Republicans and Democrats. So I was an enemy of both of the people who were running for the last presidency, both Donald Trump and Joe Biden, because I was supporting Joe Jorgensen. Now, this is something which really, really irks me, because when people utilize things like a blanket statement to say, "Oh, you're a Trump supporter and you only believe this," it's like, you don't know what somebody's beliefs are. I should probably do another video like that at some point. But then again, I tend to go off on tangents. Anyway. Just to wrap this one up, my beliefs on social hierarchy are that social hierarchy is a good thing. It is something which has been in this society for a long time. I've never seen a situation where there is equality. The only experience that I've had that's even come close to a level of equality is listening to my father talk about the monastery where he stayed when he was younger, and the way that people chipped in and shared and worked. But these small societies where people genuinely support each other socially in all of these different circumstances, they're very small and very rare. So I do believe it's good that we've got a government over us that protects us. I do believe that we've got a police force that enacts natural law and basically provides these things. I believe it's good that we've got a system that's pretty strong economically. And we have to use this in comparison not to the people we see on Hollyoaks and the people we see as being advantaged in this world, such as the royal family. And we need to look at society in contrast to other countries. There are countries in this world where people can't afford water, and they've got people who have got dyed hair, and they've got piercings and tattoos and everything else, and they're talking. I'm not really trying to stereotype here, but what I'm saying is they've got a large amount of things that are fundamentally unnecessary, and a lot of the time very expensive clothes, and they've got all these things which are unnecessary, big TVs, etc. like that. and you know, computer games, god damn it, you name it, you know, cameras, everything, and they see themselves as disadvantaged. Sorry, as soon as you get a camera, you've got an advantage. As soon as you've got a computer, you've got an advantage. People in this society, even when earning a very little amount of money, have still got a lot more than a lot of people in many countries all over the world. This is a pretty strong and pretty decent country. And yeah, there are inequalities in this society and things need to be addressed. But that is something which is going to be addressed not by the people, that is going to be addressed by the hierarchies that be. And I think that in a way, that is a better thing, because you can't rely on people to do everything. That's just unfortunately the way it is. Now, if you've got any arguments or you'd like to communicate with me, please leave some comments, talk to me. I really, really want to hear where you're coming from, because I agree that there are certain fundamental advantages to equality within society. I do think on certain levels that we are equal as people, but when it comes down to it, I do think there are certain things that make us unequal, but we can discuss more about that in the comments section. Thank you so much for tuning into the video. It's been a hard one for me to make. Coming out as a Conservative on Facebook, everyone thought I supported the Conservative Party. It's crazy. Conservative Party doesn't seem to stand for conservative values anymore. Why would I support them as a Conservative? Because they've got the same name. That's the same as the people who believe that the Black Lives Matter and the movement and Black Lives Matter, the organisation / charity, are the same thing. It's not. Honestly, it's crazy. Anyway, have a good day, and please respond to me. I am very, very looking forward to this. I expect that probably I'm going to get a little bit of a slaughtering in the comment section, but it's going to be an interesting experiment all the same. Anyway, even if you don't respond, thanks for watching. If you get this far, really, really, please leave a comment. Let me know you got this far. Just say, I got this far, I came so far, and in the end it didn't really matter. Oh god, that was a terrible, terrible attempt at doing those lyrics. Yeah, anyway, you have a good day. Thank you for joining me, and take care. Bye-bye.